the reason why many have agreed with you to expand. That clearly lays the foundation for this primary season to be monetized, because the people can be targeted. Even 40%. People with deep pockets. We know all the guys who are in the race are very, very deep pockets, and they will not shy away from targeting delegates, no matter how the limited expansion that you have done.
Well, I think that thus far we've not been concentrating on what as a party we want, right? Or who we want to be the leader of the party. People are coming out there because they satisfy the qualification and eligibility criteria as set out in the party's constitution, or even the national constitution. But you see, whoever should be the president of this country, really we are not looking at just the qualification and eligibility criteria for whoever should be our president. We are not just looking for a flag bearer. We are looking for a president or a presidential candidate. Remember what Mr. Kwampianim said in 2007. When we had preparatory to the exit of President Kufuor, we set out the processes to have him replaced by the party. I'm talking about having a new presidential candidate when he had expired his own tenure. And then we had this invasion of 17 gladiators. Kwampianim stepped in and made a profound statement that MPP, we are not looking for a flag bearer. People seem to think that we are looking for a flag bearer. And I'm quoting exactly what he said. He said, for the flag bearership, any, excuse my language, because I'm saying that I'm quoting his exact words. Kwampianim warned us, as for the flag bearer, any idiot could become the flag bearer. But we are looking beyond, or look beyond the flag bearer, because we are looking for a presidential candidate who
taken this party like anybody else in your party. Do you believe those who put their hats in the race so far, who have declared their intention, do they meet this criteria?
All of them satisfy the qualification and eligibility criteria, in my view.
The basic one?
Yes, all of them.
But you have specified now, not the basic criteria.
Yes.
But you're now inviting the party to look at aspiring to a greater criteria beyond the basic criteria. Do they aspire to that high
The expectations of the national constitution. It's not me inventing it. It's what is set out in the national constitution. And I expect that whoever is elected would have this. And as far as I'm concerned, if you apply these, then one person, in my considerable opinion, is light years ahead of the others.
Who? Bawumia?
Thou sayest.
Yes, I mean...
Thou sayest.
You've not made secret of the fact that you are in Bawumia's corner.
There's no secret about that.
Yes.
Yes.
So when I said Bawumia, you put it back in my mouth, but why don't you accept it?
This is being biblical.
Yes. What about him, though?
It's good, and as far as I'm concerned, for now, because I don't know whoever is going to declare his intentions tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But for those of them who have declared their intentions, I think that is head over shoulders above the rest.
In what respect?
In terms of competence, in terms of his track record, in terms of his vision, in terms of his broad agenda, in terms of his ingenuity, in terms of even his international acclaim, because you are looking for somebody that the world will respect. Evans, let me tell you something. We had attended a meeting in the U.S. involving senators and legislators, other legislators in the U.S. And when, after the meeting, I engaged some of the senators and other congressmen. At the time, Kofi Annan was the Secretary General of the UN, and they were really, tripping themselves to praise the performance of Kofi Annan those days. One of them said to me that I should be proud to be a Ghanaian because of this person. And he said, if ever we were to vote for a president of the world, this man should be the president of the world.
Yeah,
I was so proud.
It is well and good that foreign partners say that about him, but all politics is local.
Absolutely.
And here's a man who lost an election,
Yes.
whose face was on the ballot, and delivered a humiliating defeat for the NPP. He has definitely lost that opportunity to be the same person who takes you into another battle. You change a losing team, not a winning one. He's been the losing side.
Yeah.
So what's your argument there?
Kufuor lost in 1996. He was on the losing side. We folded him again. He won. Right.
Kufuor didn't lose more than 1 million votes.
Kufuor lost by 39. He had only 39%. This man lost. He garnered 42% almost. So in terms of sheer performance, his performance in terms of percentage.
In percentage terms?
Yes.
But in terms of real, actual
because
votes.
of where we were and the climb down.
Yes.
Right? But I'm saying that in absolute terms, in terms of figures.
In terms of figures?
Yes.
Bawumia's million plus votes is
higher than Kufuor's 39%.
It's monumental.
It's higher than Kufuor's 39%. At the time, we had 61 members of parliament in the 200-member chamber.
Yes.
We were able, just within 4 years, to climb over 50% and garnered 102 seats from 61 in the 200-member, right? Equally so for the presidential, 39%, he was able to scale over the 50 plus 1, right? 50% plus 1. And he won. President Mills, who Kufuor contested, lost. He was on the losing side. Rawlings, the dominating, towering figure.
I mean, in our corporate, you find many examples.
Thank you very much. So why do you ask the question?
There is an exception.
Which is?
The exception is the margin of defeat.
Yeah.
Nobody. You can go through the list of people from Kufuor you mentioned,
yes.
Even the man who just left power, Ronaldo himself,
yes.
same, and Bawumia, coincidentally was beside him for all the defeats, but nobody have suffered this level of defeat before. Also, because he's the ultimate face, in Parliament, you were the majority leader then, you understand Parliament more than most people. For the first time, you've delivered to the opposition an absolute majority. Again, he must take an equal share of that blame too. That is his biggest negative. And in politics, if you want to lead a party, you're ultimately judged on whether you can or cannot win an election. He's shown you historically that he can't in comparison to the past.
I disagree.
But you can't disagree with the evidence and the facts.
When John Mahama lost by 1 million votes,
even then it's still not
it was unprecedented
at the time.
At the time,
yes,
right. Don't forget, he was not even the vice president; he was a sitting president. He lost by 1 million. It was unprecedented, and we all thought that Mahama was not going to be able to bounce back. But he's been able to bounce back. He's been able to bounce back. And don't forget...
So your inspiration is Mahama?
Come again?
Bawumia's inspiration is Mahama?
No. A combination of several factors. When we won by the 1 million, into the next succeeding elections, we climbed down by about 50% to 500,000, 1,500,000. We lost by 500,000, 50% of the margin of victory. That should have told us something. Did we learn lessons? I think we didn't learn enough.
Learn lessons?
I think we didn't learn enough lessons from that massive climb down, right? I will not attribute that to him,
but that
because
he was not on him. Then.
Because he was not the presidential candidate.
No, but
at the time
he became ultimately the presidential candidate who should have learned the lessons and applied it when he stood by himself with his face on the ballot. He should have applied that lesson. The lessons you're just pointing to that we didn't learn as a party.
Yes.
In 2020.
Yes.
But he was in 2024 in the position to apply the lessons to ensure a different outcome.
Which lessons are you talking about?
But the lessons you were referring to.
No. Listen, I'm referring to the combined effect of what we witnessed. so many things conspired against us. First, don't forget that the expectations of people from governments really got shattered with the advent of the COVID-19.
You're still referring to COVID.
I do, because you see, between that time and 2024, the 60 elections that had happened worldwide, the 82 elections that had happened worldwide, 60 of them lost. Well, this is 82, sorry, 72 that had happened worldwide. 60 incumbents lost elections because the expectations of the populace got shattered with the advent of the COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine war and so on. Don't let anybody lose sight of it. President Mahama, even though he had been in a state of denial, in his inaugural statement, he still went back and admitted that it shattered the economy. So who is in a state of denial? Now, apart from that, our own governance also introduced some aspects of matters that contributed to our loss as well, right? People will refer to some taxes that were introduced, even the call, for instance, for reshuffles to be made, which were not heeded to, and so on. If you go to Ashanti region, my own constituency, Swami, we have been talking about the Swami interchange for a very long time. Government, when we had even procured the facility to undertake it, we got trapped into the labyrinth of our engagement with the IMF, and the money that Parliament had even approved could not be released because of our engagement with the IMF. In the meantime, those of them that we had contracted and finished earlier, like the Pokwasi interchange, the Tema end of the motorway, Bichibilamte, the Tamale one, people then contrasted. Ashanti is the heartbeat of the party. Why couldn't we do just one? Right? How many people understood where we were? So, infrastructure in Ashanti in particular came up for discussions, right? So, the combined effect of these matters on our own governance also ate into our inability to perform. Then we come to even the party itself, the internal dynamics, the electioneering process. Did Bawumia have any command over that or control over that?
The electioneering process?
Yes. At the time when he came, he didn't have any control over. You and I have been speaking about the monetization in the party, which should be a thing of the past, and we are attempting to confront it now by expanding the base. And I was just saying that these amendments did not travel far enough, that ultimately we should work towards one person, one vote. He as an individual wouldn't have control over the processes, right? I still think that that's the ultimate destination for us if we want to cure this mischief of monetization, right? So the party's own internal dynamics, some people, you go to the constituency level,
but that's the
they will tell you that some people had their names.
The structure that produced him as a Flagbealer of the party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
so he was a beneficiary of the fraud structure.
The negatives associated with it, he didn't have control over.
Yeah, but he was a beneficiary of that.
Who was a beneficiary?
Dr. Bawumia.
Oh, I mean, that have been. I, for instance, have been a member of Parliament for 7 consecutive terms. How many times have I not spoken to these matters?
Yeah, you have.
Yes.
You have documented.
But you see, if you're a Democrat, you go along with what the majority, put forth.
That's true. But you don't turn around and blame the structure.
Why can't we blame the structure?
But
for instance, now we have agreed on this limited expansion.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it will not cure the mischief, but that is what the party has agreed on now. And it's my duty to uphold what it is now with the view of working towards further expansion. Because, you see, in general elections, people don't talk about monetization. Why? Because the electoral college is too huge, such that it will not even occur to you that you want to go and bribe anybody, give anybody money or cola or drink or whatever. It will not even occur to you. That is the way to attaining glory. And that is why we should work towards that. So, even though I spoke about it, the party did not buy into what I thought was going to be the best. I stood an election and I won on many occasions, but I'll still have my principle intact, that no, even though it's produced me, let's work towards it. So how do you say that he as an individual should be blamed for it? So Evans, these are the factors that contributed to our welfare, our abysmal performance. Maybe I may add the electioneering campaign.
But you've given a lot of excuses. You're not saying
justifications. Yes.
That the man who's face on the ballot should take any part of the responsibility.
I've not said so.
But I haven't heard you yet.
No, but I've not finished.
So, but I'm asking you now.
I'm saying
part of the defeat?
That is what I'm relating to now.
That's your candidate.
That is what I'm relating to now. The electioneering campaign, his own management, the management of the campaign, the resources that we had, right? Yes, he trusted the system, the structures. Let it go through the parliamentary candidates, because ultimately he's the face out there. They have a chairman who will be there. Well, if a district chief executive is in place, work with him. Why? Because he's also in touch, if he's business-like. He will be in touch with the local people. So these three were the faces that were put together, personalities that were put together to manage the application of the resources, so that we'll be able to drill down to the polling station areas for them to be energized to work for the party. I must admit that if you go to so many places, there's a lot of complaint that the resources that came got locked up somewhere at a certain critical juncture. What people blame the candidates, the chairman, the constituency chairman, the parliamentary candidates, that they did not ensure that the resources really drill down to the police station, electoral area coordinators and so on, to facilitate their work. We've learned lessons from them. So, yes, he was not the person to ensure that these things go there.
But there too, you're accusing him.
No, I'm saying he availed the resources. Did you avail resources? I can tell you that the resources that were availed this time around, ever since I became the candidate for my place, I've never seen a quarter of it. So resources were made available.
So in other words, you spent far more money this time than you ever seen before in the campaign?
Far more resources. I'll not just put it in monetary terms. Resources. And yet, we couldn't deliver, because maybe we didn't drill down to the polling station levels sufficiently, I would say. So next time around, how do we improve the system?
Did other people hijack his campaign though?
Other people hijacking the campaign?
Yeah. Did people hijack the campaign to the detriment of the big picture, the group?
Well, I would say that some people make those allusions that some people came from outside and superintended over the electioneering campaigns and so on. But the man himself insisted that it is not my campaign alone, it's that the party. So at every level, involve the party people. At the regional level, at the national level, at the regional level, at the constituency level, and even at the sub-levels of electoral area and polling stations. Unfortunately, I must admit, at least from the evidence that I've seen, because I was part of the group, or I led the group that inquired into the performance of the party in Ashanti, and the reports that came to us so indicated. So is an assortment of reasons that, combined to put us to where we now are. But I think that if we do what is right and appropriate and do it in good time, we'll be able to overcome the obstacles.
He obviously will have key contenders. In fact, already does have, because some of them have already declared their intentions.
Yes.
Who among the field do you think will pose the biggest threat?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know who is coming and who is not coming.
Kyei Mensa Bonsu obviously has said he is running. He's declared.
Oh, he is running.
Yes. Will he be the biggest threat?
I can't from the top of my head make that declaration, because as I said, we don't know the full complement of those of them who will be coming.
I mean, at least we can work with what we know now. What we know now is that he's running, Brian is running, and you also have a Agyapong running. At least from those that we know now, who will be his biggest threat?
Well, because Ken made his intention known ahead of time, ahead of all others. He started working early, towards that end. For now, everything we are talking about today's situation, I would say that is above the others in the race, not including Dr. Bawumia, but those of them who have declared to come in. But there are others who may be, better sprinters than he is, and who may overtake him.
But this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So if it's a marathon, you say he is your biggest threat.
No, I'm not sure.
You're not sure Ken is your biggest
because
threat?
Even in a marathon, the last leg is a sprint.
But you must do well in the marathon first to be part of that final sprint.
That's what I'm telling you. Even in the marathon, the last leg is a sprint. So don't be.
But from your analysis, you see, because he again declared his first, he actually was the closest to him in the last primary.
Well,
fair to conclude then that if you're really looking at the biggest threat, he will be.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. In 2008, Alan was the closest to Akufo-Addo. When he attempted again, what was his position? People should not over-exaggerate their strength.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in every race, you must know your opponents.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm asking you. I mean, I know you're a bigger strategist. You're a strategist part of his team.
Yes.
Plotting for him to come back, first win the primary and hopefully win it. You must by now have done an analysis of the field and know who your opponents are.
We don't have the full complement of the field.
No, so far you do.
Look, the starters blocks have not even been put in place.
Yeah.
You think that there's a full complement. We don't have.
No, I'm not saying that.
I know some people who have even now imported their boots from outside. They are not yet in.
Boots?
Yes, to be cleared at the port.
Under boots?
Yes.
Literal boots, I say boots.
Yes, you should understand the metaphor.
Okay.
You should understand the metaphor. so I think we don't have the full complement. And you may see
I'm asking about what you know now.
Yes.
What you know now.
Yes.
Are those who have already declared that they will be running?
Who has declared?
Kyei Mensa Bonsu has declared that his intention to run.
Yes.
Brian Champon has declared his intention to run.
Yes.
Agyapong has declared his intention to run.
Yes.
Kyei Mensa Bonsu, I just passed by his campaign office with his huge billboard for president.
Yes.
Yeah, he's declared that he will run.
You mentioned Kennedy.
I'm sorry, Agyapong.
Okay.
I'm saying Agyapong. I just passed by his campaign office.
Okay.
Just by the roadside of the ring road.
Yeah.
So he has also declared his intention to run. Among the five I just mentioned, you must have done by now analysis. If that's all you have,
yes,
holding the rest constant, because you don't know that.
Yes.
You must now know who is going to be your biggest threat and how you strategize to outweight.
Not necessarily.
So you haven't done that analysis?
No, we'll be doing it, but it's cyclical, and on daily basis maybe you'll be running through it. Why? Because you see, in 1998, the last person to declare his intent to contest, President Kufuor was in the race already, but the last to declare his intent to contest was Akufo-Addo. He placed second. Others had declared earlier on that they were going to contest, but when the whistle got blown, right, the others fell by the roadside, and Akufo-Addo emerged as the second person. He was the runner-up to Kufuor. And that is why I think that we should tarry a while. That is not to write anybody off. No, certainly not. If you are a strategist, you are looking at whoever is emerging, his strengths and weaknesses, and you also assess your own position, what are your own strengths.
But you've done an assessment already, the strengths and weaknesses of those who have already declared.
Well, to a large measure.
And you're confident that your man still holds the upper hand?
By the grace of God.
In spite of Ken's very strong popularity among the base of the party,
I see.
Of the party.
Well, you are saying so.
You disagree?
You are saying so.
I'm asking whether you disagree with what I just said.
Action speaks louder than words.
What are the actions? What actions?
You are old enough to remember the lyrics of Jimmy Cliff.
Yes.
Right? Action speaks louder than words. Don't be deceived by fancy talkers. Thank you.
Can Agyapong is a fancy talker?
I've not said so. I'm just playing back the music of Jimmy Cliff to us.
But you don't.
When you go back to the studio, please play it for me.
I will. But you don't dispute that he has a very strong affinity with the base of the party, the grassroots.
Who is it? Look, if we're talking about a grassroots, I'm a grassroots man. I started with this party in 1992.
You may have started there, but you're an establishment. You represent the establishment.
And I represent the grassroots as well.
Yeah, but that's where you started.
If I were disconnected with my grassroots at Swami, I couldn't have on 7 consecutive occasions been their representative. I'm a grassroots person. Yes. I don't dispute the fact that he may also have his own connection with the grassroots. After all, he also contested 6 times in his constituency, right? When he left, he surrendered the seat to the NDC.
But your
when I left, as I maintained the seat for the MPP.
Yes, but
so in terms of grassroots connect, let's overhype our strength. Don't let anybody over-exaggerate his strength. Action, as I've told you, speaks louder than words. I don't listen to fancy talkers. I'm not saying he's a fancy talker. I'm saying I don't listen to fancy talkers. Let's get down there.
Agronomy.
This is the 3rd time I should say to you, thou sayest.
I want to return to the conference and something related.
Right.
Which is your decision to abolish the so-called superdelegates. By your constitution, it's the special delegates Congress. And I want to take you back to 2007. I was in the Sea of Ghana covering, and you were there too.
Yes.
And on the back of the acrimony, you decided to introduce this measure to try and deal with the acrimony. So wherever you have a field of more than 5 people, you have your special delegates who convene to shortlist. Now
that's 2009.
That's when you went to the conference.
Yes.
But I'm talking about the trigger for that was 2007. What happened at University of Ghana?
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So the 2007 was the reason why 2009 became necessary.
Right.
Yes. But you decided now to go back to what used to be. Now, even if it's 20 people, from what I understand, the outcome of Saturday, they all go to one primary, elected by everybody else.
Yes.
What has changed? First of all, do you agree with the majority?
Personally, I don't.
You don't, okay.
Yes. You see, in 2009, I, as the main proponent of that amendment, proposed that the number should even be 3. And the reason why we made that proposal was that, you see, in any political party, you have 3 strands. In a political party, we may have the hawks, we may have the conservatives, but we may have the moderates. So in any political party, you have these 3 segments. I wanted our discourse in the party to really relate to these matters, so that we move away from personality cults building in the party. Unfortunately, when it came to effecting the amendment, on the spur of the moment, Dan Boche who at the time was that the general secretary? I think he had left the seat. He was the one who started the momentum. Let me associate myself with my chairman, my regional chairman. He was the one who started the movement to go against that proposal and rather increase it to 5, which is what found expression in the Constitution. Today people are saying that, oh, let's do away with it. In principle, I disagree. And I thought that if we are going back, then there's no need to now say that, oh, then if nobody out of maybe the number garners more than 50 plus 1, then we do a second round involving the first 2. In that regard, then we'll say that the first past post. If you are allowing for as many as possible to enter the fray, it's going to be a prodigal waste of our time. And the most popular at the time who emerges then should be the person to be crowned. You don't want a situation where somebody garners about 45%, somebody is in a distant second, garners about 10%, the rest of them are struggling to have 2-3%. They all come together to undo the one who has the popularity. They gang up against him.
Because he didn't cross 50.
Because he didn't cross 50. I disagree with that. I disagree. But of course, it's the decision of the party. It's attracted, should I say, consensual approval. So I should stick by it for the time being. But in principle, I disagree. But that is the decision of the party.
But that then poses a significant hurdle now for Dr. Bawumia, your man, because he now must necessarily get 50 plus 1 and cross it.
Yes, that's it.
And the larger the field, the more difficult it is to do that, because everybody else is going to take 100 votes here.
Yes. That's the point.
Does that worry you that it may pose a challenge for him?
Oh, I don't.
You think he has what it takes?
I don't blink an eye over that. I think that he has what it takes
to cross 50 plus 1, regardless of how many people join.
Yes, as I said, he's a man of the moment, and regardless of whatever anybody does, I believe that he will still emerge. I want a situation where he'll be able to garner more than the percentage he garnered the previous time, and perhaps attain close to about 70%. If he does that, uniting the party behind him will not be difficult.
If he doesn't?
If he doesn't and wins by the 50 plus 1 that we are even talking
barely crosses the line.
Yes. Then it gives the impression that, oh, he's not carrying the entire party behind him. Right.
He needs an Akufo-Addo victory. That needs very emphatic
victory.
But you know, knowing the party that you know, and what I observe from outside, that the current arrangement, the quality and strength of the people in the race, it seems highly unlikely that he gets 70%. Highly unlikely that he even gets 55%. Because this is a man that when he was the vice president with all the resources, the state machinery, everything, that the incumbent president had endorsed it, he still struggled to reach 60, 70.
Did he?
He didn't get 70.
No, I'm saying, did the incumbent president at the time?
Well, did he? He had his tacit support. He did definitely. I mean, it was a no.
I'm just
tell me, did Akufo-Addo support him then?
Well, you are saying, you are putting.
I'm asking you. I mean,
you made a definitive statement. That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I'm rephrasing now. Having given me that answer, which possibly shows that I may be wrong, did Akufo-Addo support him last year?
He was the president and he was his vice president.
So did he support him?
I want to believe so, but it's difficult for me to really state that case. I want to believe.
Well, what's difficult about it? You were Minister for Parliamentary Affairs.
Yes, he never told me that. He never told me that, and he never told this at cabinet. At cabinet, he was always insistent that anybody who emerged victorious, he was going to support.
Yeah.
I didn't say so on one occasion. On at least the meetings that I attended, because there were a couple of meetings in the election year that I couldn't attend because of our schedule in Parliament. But those ones that I attended, on at least 4 different occasions, he made this statement.
So we can then say that in the primary, the vice president then did not have the explicit support of his boss Akufo-Addo.
I'm saying that, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't make that statement at cabinet. Cabinet decisions should not, or discussions should not be brought out here. Normally we have what we call political discussions after cabinet. Those ones, we don't swear any oath of secrecy. It's the reason why I'm telling you this, because it was outside the strict cabinet confines. But at those meetings, he never
expresses a preference for him.
Yes,
or
but anyone who emerges victorious will be the person.
You know, you go back to his phrase that he used, actions speak louder. In his actions, did he support?
And that's why I'm saying that it's difficult for me to see, because, look, in Ashanti region, I was one of the people who were in charge of mobilizing funds for Dr. Bawumia. We succeeded in getting what we wanted to get and had excess liquidity. And then we then decided to use what we garnered to support his effort in Western North, Bono, Ahafo, Bono East. I know what we went through.
Where did you go to?
No, I'm talking about garnering resources to support Bawumia. So when people make those statements as you have just made, that Kufuor supported him, he used government machinery to support him, I struggle a bit.
But you also can't tell me if he didn't.
That is why I'm saying that me as an individual, he never said so to me. And I was close to Kufuor. In my private conversations with him, he never said so. He insisted that whoever emerged victorious, he would support him. Right? And so, as far as I'm concerned, he was even-handed. But, as I've said, everything considered, he at the time was the president, he was his vice president, and they had worked closely together. So maybe if between he and him, he supported him, that one I cannot tell. But to the best of my knowledge, right, in the lead up to the primaries, whatever we're able to mobilize, we did it on our own. But maybe on my blind side, and I will not pretend to be closer to Kufuor than his own vice president.
But let me ask you about now.
Yes.
In fact, it was Arthur Kennedy who said on my show once, very recently, that he can see on authority that Akufo-Addo has expressly, even if he had any support for him, said he's never going to support Bawumia going forward. Is that true?
But the person who told you is the person that you have asked.
Well, I'm asking because you're close to him.
No. You said Arthur Kennedy, it was who told you that?
Who said it on my show on PMA.
And then you asked him, what's your evidence?
Well, yes, he says he is, what he knows on the party and from those that are close to Akufo-Addo. Is that true, though?
Well, from what I know in the party, I would say that Akufo-Addo has not made that open declaration anywhere.
Has his action shown that he doesn't?
Well, I've heard that people have said that he has said somewhere that he's not going to support him. But if you ask me whether I have evidence to that effect, I'll not be able to produce that. So that is why I'm asking you, the person who had the courage to tell you that, you should have put him on the carpet, produce the evidence. I mean, and now you leave him and you are coming to ask me that I should show evidence.
But you've just made the point that this is chatter within the part that you've also heard. This is conversation with the part that you've also heard, that he said it somewhere.
Well, I've heard from some birds who have whispered in my ears.
That he said somewhere.
That he said somewhere, and those of them, I wouldn't even say secondary or third party sources, perhaps fourth party sources. That is difficult to really.
But those of them, you were making a point, how did you hear what he said exactly?
Well, they said, they have heard through some third parties that Akufo-Addo has said that he's not going to support him. Fair and fine, I have not heard. But we take it like that. The man is his own man. He has decided to contest. And in 2008, rumors were rife that Kufuor, the then president, had committed to supporting Agyapong. Akufo-Addo, a cabinet minister, exited. He was on his own, and yet even when Kufuor was the president, and as we were told, supported the bid of Agyapong with his position as president, Adan didn't win. Akufo-Addo won it. Akufo-Addo is no longer the president anyway. So if it is true, I don't want to believe that it is true. But if it is true, like he walked through fire and won, Bawumia can also walk through fire and win.
With or without his?
With or without. But I don't want to believe that it is true. I don't want to believe that what people are saying out there is true.
Let's talk about another former president, John Kufuor. You were instrumental, from what I hear, in reaching out to him recently on the back of the reports that we saw, the video that we watched. How did that go?
My encounter with him, with President Kufuor.
Yes.
Well, we had several meetings, and his concern has always been how to unite the party, and especially after our, most improbable performance, he is very concerned that we get it right this time, and unite behind whoever we choose to be the leader and move forward in unison. That's been his concern, and that we should also confine ourselves to the principles and ideologies of the party. We should stand out amongst others as the party of business people, as the party of the academicians, as the party of the ordinary people, right? Don't forget, Buzia was touted as inclusive rabbi, right? So he is urging us to really reaffirm our belief in the party's ideology and reposition ourselves. So generally, that's been his sing-song.
And did he really feel pain that he may have been sidelined, as was reported, and we had him at least articulate?
Not that I know of, but you see, if a person says that I want to be involved in as many of the business of the party as possible, right? You must make that distinction between the person saying that I've been neglected, right? In any event, when we asked some people to engage him, including his own grandson, Dr. Matthew Prempe, Irene Toshi, the immediate past administrator of the Common Fund,
Katie
Hammond, and who else? I think it's Sema, former Minister for Transport, to engage him. He refuted that claim that no, that was not the position that he was really advocating, even though he wants to be involved. He thinks that now he is capable of being engaged, all the more for him to have the opportunity to express his own feelings about events and how to move the party forward. But it was made to appear as if Kufuor was saying that he had been sidelined. That was not the position. And the reports that he brought back to the party really negatived the kind of impression that video clip sought to portray.
That's Kyei Mensa Bonsu. I'm going to take a break. When I return, I'll ask him about the Constitutional Review Committee's work. I mean, when he was a Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, he started his own committee to try and do something very similar. I'll ask him his thoughts on the work they've done so far and what outcomes he's expecting from there. We'll talk about Ghana. He had an opportunity to assess the last 6 months of John Dramani Mahama, what his thoughts are about that. But then we'll also end by talking about his party a bit more. On the back of the changes that they've done recently, there are a few more issues that I want to pick his thoughts on. Why are they electing their communications director, for example? He's the one who has said to me many times that he doesn't believe every position in the party must be one that must be elected. And so why is the party then choosing to elect a position that should be reserved for professionals and others? Stay with me here on PM Express. Thank you for staying with us on PM Express. My guest is Kyei Mensa Bonsu. PM Express is always brought to you by Syntax Tanks, also brought to you by President Committee Fighter, and also by Academic Times newspaper. Mr. Kyei Mensa Bonsu, let's deal with something that happened very recently in Agyapong North. A lot has been said about it, about the chaos that ensued there, etc. The party was put in a very difficult position. I know the council had reviewed it, National Executive Committee had reviewed it, where the candidate decides to defy the party. She's come out to apologize now. Has the party put that episode behind it now? Because it showed the party is in disarray for a party to meet and take a decision for only the party's candidate to say she's doing something completely different.
Well, sometimes it is difficult to disengage a person who has his or her own ambitions. So I, as an individual, reclining to really reassess the situation, thought that what happened was going to be a possibility. I see the candidate also having assessed what had happened in the election. Don't forget, the results of those 19 police stations had already been announced at the various police stations. And from that, she had won by close to 2,000 votes. So she thought that even with that, if there was going to be a rerun, she stood the position of winning the 19 stations. The party argued from a principled position that the 19 stations had all been counted. The NDC subsequently raised issues with the 19, which later came to 7, because they were talking about the result sheets, which had been destroyed by some thugs on the day of the elections, when counting had already been done and records had been put on the declaration sheet, and the parties had been given their own pin sheets. So eventually they narrowed it down to 7 of the polling stations whose pink sheets could not be traced. The NDC said they didn't have their pink sheets. For the Electoral Commission, theirs had also been destroyed. But the remaining 7, the MPP could also not have their originals. Eventually, out of the 7, they were able to bring 4, which the Electoral Commission produced, and the NDC then agreed that that was it. Then they were left with 3. The ballots had already been collated, they had been sorted out, counting had been done, and they had also recorded same on the sheet. Those 3, the MPP's pin sheets that the tax set on were destroyed. But fortunately for the MPP, they had scanned the results on those sheets. So they produced the scanned results to the Electoral Commission. Surprisingly, the returning officer for one of the stations, when he came, said yes, he agrees with the figure for the MPP, the figure for the NDC, for the other parties, but he couldn't exactly remember the figure for the rejected ballot. Which figure was not going to add to the MPP, it wasn't going to add to the NDC's figure. So it was of no moment. But the moment he said so, the NDC then clung to it to say that yes, if the returning officer says that he cannot remember, then these 3 should not be accepted. Which is why the remaining 2 were not even discussed. Which is why the Electoral Commission then came out to say that there were only 3 stations outstanding, and that they needed to do a recounting, that is a recollation. That was what they said. And just under a week before they came out to reverse their own statement in Parliament, they had said that they were not going to run the 19 stations because it is going to be a dent on our democracy and our forward march. I'm quoting from what the later commissioner, the deputy commissioner said in Parliament, captured in the Hansard. So what changed? That overnight, they then decided not even to run the 3 stations, to rerun the stations, but to rerun 19, which occasioned the
so
party
you're sympathetic to the
which occasioned the party to say that no, the Electoral Commission has been inconsistent,
so on
which matter was taken to court, and the court directed that no, you testifying before us, the court had said that you're going to do just a collation of the 3. So go and do the collation of the 3. It ended up as, a rerun of 19. And the party went back to cite the commission for contempt, which was thrown out, rather ludicrously. And one cannot fathom the reason for throwing out. So
you're sympathetic towards the candidate's decision to...
No, I'm sympathetic towards the party's decision.
Okay.
And which was conveyed to the candidate. He was invited, she was invited, and it was conveyed to her. But she leaves, and then some people go behind her to urge her on to contest that she was going to win. And then we ended up in this, rather unfortunate position. My difficulty was after she had entered the race, which had resulted in the calamity that was visited on some of her supporters. How do you proceed from there? And so, in my view, I thought we ought to have forgotten. But the party then insisted that no, here's a case she had openly defied the party's decision. So at least there should be some sanctions, which is why she was called upon to apologize, which she did. I was looking at the repercussions on those of them who have suffered because of her. How do you position them? They suffered for the cause of the party. But that was yesterday. We move on, we have learned lessons.
But here's the thing, because you're in Bawumia's campaign, I must ask you, keeping them honest, he supported the campaign, the ladies' campaign, with resources.
Yes.
With money, to be specific.
Yes.
That was also in defiance of the party's position, because he knew, Bawumia should have knew that the party's position was not to contest.
Yes.
You must certainly condemn that.
Well, a decision was taken by the party not to contest. Then, after she had gone there, and reality had dawned on her, she then runs to Bawumia. Please, I'm in difficulty. And she said, but we told you not to contest. You see, it's a rather labyrinthine situation. After the party had said she shouldn't contest, the party should also have gone ahead to direct the Electoral Commission that she's not contesting on our ticket, right? If she wants to contest, then it shouldn't be on the emblem of the MPP. The party did not take that further step. So we were left in the quagmire situation, right? Which is what happened. But it was really dicey situation. This is not the first time this has happened.
But this is very clear-cut, though. It's not dicey at all. The party's position...
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something?
And Bawumia shouldn't have...
Can I tell you something? You put out a statement, and I'm also relating to the statement. In 1992, when we boycotted the parliamentary primaries, Hawa Yakubu contested, not even on the ticket of MPP. There were two of them. It wasn't Achillewo. Hawa and another person. They contested. The party had taken a decision that we are not going to contest. We had withdrawn all our candidates. And when they were contesting and they met problems, they then ran to the party for support, and the party supported them.
Yes.
So this is not the first time.
I know, but
I'm just saying that on principle, the party should have gone forward.
Yeah, but I'm not asking about the party. I'm saying Bawumia supported a candidate.
He was not the only one. He was not the only one. She ran to many of those of them who are declared to contest.
Yeah, but I'm asking about Bawumia.
And I know of some other individuals who are not in the race.
Others did, but I'm asking about Bawumia because you are in this camp. He shouldn't have done that.
I'm in the camp of the party.
Bawumia shouldn't have done that.
Well, it wasn't official. People decided to.
He made the campaign in defiance of the party's position.
No, I'm saying. So you caution your offspring, maybe your daughter, who you saw get into the refuse dump. Hey, don't go there. She defies you. She goes there. She's bitten by a snake. He comes running to you. You abandon the child because you said you said you shouldn't go there in the first place. Would you abandon the child?
Well, but that's not the same.
Would the principle be the same? Would you abandon the child?
No, but this is not a child. This is a full-grown adult.
We are talking about principles. We are talking about principles. We are talking about principles.
You know, and another
somebody from your outfit, right? She's supposed to be working in your unit. Time is not up for the person to leave, and she steps out. She gets knocked down by a vehicle. Time was not up for the person to leave. She left, so you abandon the person. Would you do that?
Again, it's not the same analogy. This is an orange. But let me ask you. Let me ask the question I've always wanted.
Since you don't want to be candid on this.
No, I mean it's apples and oranges. Let me ask the question I've always wanted to ask you since I started talking to you. What really happened that led to your exit from the majority leader's position? I mean, the last time I spoke to you about it, when it shortly happened, you were very, but now this time has passed. You know how they declassify information? This is your time to declassify. Well, what happened?
It's not yet time to declassify.
It's time.
You'll find it in the book that I'm writing. It's not yet declassified.
But what happened?
I've told you it's not yet declassified. You want to trump me?
Are you using Trump as in Donald, or this is
my own version of Trump.
But I'm curious about what happened. Were you forced out?
Your curiosity will be satisfied.
Were you forced out?
In the fullness of time, your curiosity will be
because
satisfied.
some have told me that the story you told me when I first had the opportunity to talk to you last year, when this freshly happened, wasn't exactly the case.
It was embellished?
That you actually held back quite a bit, that you were engaged in deliberate withholding of information. And now maybe you're in a position to share the truth. You were forced out, from what I understand. The Akufo-Addo had a hand in forcing you out. But you were told to the face that there's no way you're going to continue as a majority leader. And you being magnanimous, you just didn't want to fight at the time, and so you left.
Well, I don't know that. I have never known that you are an octopus, Paul. The first will come out. I'll get to know.
So you were forced out?
You are saying that.
Didn't walk.
You are saying that whether I walked out, I ran out, or I crawled out, the facts will come to you.
When?
In the fullness of time.
You're writing a book?
In the fullness of time, you'll get to know.
But you're writing a book?
I should be.
Okay, you started already.
I should be writing.
What would you write in this chapter? The chapter that saw the longest serving leader.
I'm writing 3 books at the same time.
3 books?
At the same time.
Okay. One about
myself.
Why 3 books? What are they?
The one is about my life as an individual. How I started life from nowhere to somewhere, and the other will be my life in politics, and the third one will be life after Parliament.
Okay.
Yeah.
Life of the Parliament. It's been 6 months plus since you exited finally. How's it been?
We'll discover that.
You tell me.
You will discover that.
I will.
These are any days.
It's been 6 months. Are you enjoying it? Are you missing
after
it?
Life. Come again?
Are you enjoying it? Are you missing it? Are you enjoying life without parliamentary hustle and bustle, or you're missing being there and being in the main?
Both. Sometimes you watch proceedings and it's like, oh, okay, I would have done this differently.
You still watch proceedings?
Sometimes.
Okay.
That's why I said sometimes when I watch, sometimes, not every time, but most times I have scant time looking at it. But even if it's a playback, you tell yourself that, okay, I would have done things differently. That is not in any way to, run down those of them in charge. They are doing their best for the time being. And
how is Afanyo doing?
Come again?
So far, how is Afanyo doing so far?
Well, not badly, but he's just started. So let's see how he goes up in that sphere or space around him.
He has a very difficult task, considering how diminished the minority is, and also considering that for the first time they're going to confront a majority with an absolute majority, a 2/3 majority. You might have some sympathy for him that his task is a really, really difficult one.
In 1993, there were only two opposition figures in Parliament. The rest of the parties, the NDC, had split into three groups: the EGL, the NCP, and NDC proper. They control Parliament, except 2 seats occupied by Hawa Yakubu and this person that I forget. Was it between Achino and
John Ndebugri?
Yes.
PNC?
PNC. Yakubu was also in PNC, don't forget.
Yeah.
I think it was, and the PNC had decided not to contest. And the two of them contested anyway. Yet we had them to scamper and, find resources for them to contest. As individuals, not as a political party. But when they came, they were able to shine in Parliament, even two. We were 61 in the 200-member chamber. I'm talking about the MPP. In terms of percentage, ours was just about 31%. Then they see towards over us, and yet we registered our presence boldly under Kyei Mensa, right? When President Mills took over and I became the minority leader, well, without beating my chest, I would say that together with the then minority, we achieved tremendously. And I'm hoping that in spite of the number that they have now, to be able to register strongly on the political radar. So there will be a force to partner the party to win back victory. In opposition, the burden of the party in clawing back power is much more on the shoulders of the parliamentary group. And so it is important for them to put their acts
That's a profound statement.
Yes.
You think the current leadership in Parliament appreciate that on the minority side?
They should appreciate. And every now and then I have some discussions with the leader that this is the position. So we should be better focused and deal with the real issues. Right? So
have they satisfied your expectations of them in the last few months?
They are doing their best.
Is it enough though? Is that best enough?
They are doing their best, but there's still room for improvement.
Since we're talking about last 6 months, give me your assessment of John Mohammed's last 6 months. Impressed?
Well, John has found favor, and his favor is predicated on a lot of circumstances. He's benefiting from many things. For instance, the cedi now is holding against the dollar. And you and I know that it's attributable to many things. One, the Trumpian declaration of the American legacy and what he has done, the tariff system that he wanted to impose, warping the dollar internationally. And Ghana really has tremendously also benefited from that. I think the gold for oil arrangement has also helped in a very tremendous way to really hold the city. And I remember in the
You mean
days
the gold board or gold for oil?
the go for oil.
That's your policy.
Yes, which this government is continuing.
No, they have discontinued go for oil.
Since when?
Immediately they came to power.
That is not true.
They have discontinued gold for oil.
Oh, please.
They're not using gold to purchase oil anymore.
Please. I'm not too sure that you know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. I've spoken to the energy minister. This is not a policy that they are continuing.
Please. They indicated to abrogate it. And I said to them to hold on.
You said to them to hold on.
Yes.
And they hold on because...
No, not because... No. We went through why they shouldn't. You see...
And they agree with you?
Well, at the time there was no minister, right? But I knew who the minister was going to be. And at the transitions committee level, we had frank discussions about what good it was doing to the economy. You see, the G4O arrangement is the medium, is the vehicle that has yielded so much gold to the Bank of Ghana, such that we have now been able to improve our status from the 7 metric tons that Akufo-Addo inherited to about 30 metric tons at the time of Akufo-Addo's departure. The 7 metric tons, don't forget, was from independence up to Akufo-Addo's time. The gold reserves at Bank of Ghana equaled just 7 metric tons. At the time of Akufo-Addo's existence, it had climbed up to 30 metric tons. It has a huge potential. Then because of this arrangement, and because we are not taking from our reserves, our dollar reserves, there was little pressure on the dollar because of this agreement, and we're then able to also massively build up our international reserves. Don't forget.
But your CD under you was 16.
Yes, I'm saying, don't forget that
you didn't make
at a point in time, the reserves had climbed up to about $9.86 billion. COVID circumstances brought us down to about 5 billion. Now, between 2022, mid-2022, up to 2024, at the point of exit, when the G4O was introduced, we were then able to massively accumulate about 5 billion. Such that about 4 billion, such that at the point of exit, again, we had just climbed.
So you don't give John Mahama credit for the...
No, I'm not saying. For even continuing, credit should be given to him.
Well,
because
they haven't continued to go for oil. That certainly is not a policy that have been implemented now. Please. It may have been during the early days, but now it's long gone. They are focusing
when did they stop it?
Well, I've never known them to be implementing gold for oil.
I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But anyway, but that's something. I'm just saying that these things have helped us not only to build our gold reserves at the bank, but also attracted, because you see, it came with some sanctions. Your constitution says that every natural resource in its natural state, belongs to the state. Now, so if you stumble on gold as you step out, you should declare it to the state so that they will know the interest of the state in the finding. So many of them, especially the galamseys and small-scale operators, they are not declaring. And then there was a side note to them that, well, if you don't declare, 6 months after you've been given a license and a concession, you are telling us you are not winning anything. When you destroy the land, you call on government to come and rehabilitate the soil that you have destroyed. Then it means that you are destroying for nothing. You are withdrawing the license. Whereupon many of them then migrated and were declaring. Which is why, for the first time in the history of this country, go back 2021, 2022, the output of gold from Ghana was 2.5 million. At the point of exit, it had climbed up to 4.2 million ounces per year, which is what has made Ghana the largest producer of gold in Africa. It is thanks to that arrangement. So that was why I was saying that they shouldn't be in a rush to do it. And so it stabilized us for the time being. And I think that yes, they sounded. I've been away for a brief while. If it's been done, that you are telling me that it's been stopped a very long time ago. I disagree. If it's a long time ago, if it's discontinued, it must be very recent.
Let me ask a final question.
I'm saying that it really has contributed in stabilizing the city. The other matters.
Yeah.
Let me talk about because I mentioned Galamsey.
Which one?
Galamsey.
Yeah.
What has happened? Is it on the? Seeing escalation? Or
today, Utah has given them 3 months to do that. They're going to.
What have you done? Right? Because we were part of the advocacy that we should stop it as a nation.
Yeah, the advocacy is still very live as far as we are concerned.
You are concerned. Have you been doing that?
Oh, absolutely. The advocacy is live.
I'm asking you about your own role.
Media, of course.
Your own role.
I've
not heard your voice. I've not heard your voice.
Destroy the environment is a no-brainer. I mean, you have to stop.
I recollect Professor Mills' brother, who is with Kyei, the constituency.
Cadman.
He brought up questions about when we're going to resurrect the Commander sugar factory. I was saying that it was never going to be possible under these circumstances. We disagreed. There were 3 occasions that he came up with statements, and why is he not doing so now?
Let me ask you finally.
Let me remind me through your medium that he should do it now.
Let me finally, on the last 6 months, before we wrap up, assessing the last 6 months on the scale of 0 to 10, where will you score John Mahama?
In which
in the economy, the way they've managed to